Lesson 6. The Power of Influence in Storytelling for Engaging Your Audience. Hello to yet another premium lesson. Today we have a burning question for you. Who are you? As avid learners, we know that you've probably watched your fair share of TED Talks. And when you binge watch them, you might start to feel like you're listening to the same talk over and over again, even if the topics are vastly different. That's because TED Talks follow a formula that's fantastic for novice presenters and storytellers dipping their toes into public speaking. Typically, a TED Talk begins with a personal anecdote. The speaker's voice lowers as they share a seemingly simple story, like, "When I was 16, I babysat my younger brothers one Saturday." This anecdote lasts a few minutes, and we get to listen to the events that led up to the speaker's achievements. They take us through their experiences and offer advice on how we can use these lessons to change our own lives. The talk concludes with an uplifting, heartfelt message, something like, "I believe you can do it, too." The sky is the limit when you truly know yourself. While thousands of people enjoy these formulaic talks, the most popular ones often deviate from this structure. Sometimes, these groundbreaking presentations are delivered by lecturers, experts in their fields who confidently share their knowledge with a captive audience. Unlike traditional TED Talks, these lectures don't start with personal anecdotes. They begin with thought-provoking questions like, what drives you to wake up and push for another day? Where does that ambition come from? There's no dramatic tone drop at the end of these lectures. The questions alone are enough to pique our interest. Today, we're going to explore how you can inspire and influence through storytelling, drawing on the techniques of these captivating lecturers. You don't need a university degree to be successful, but learning from a talented lecturer can be a life-changing experience. Luckily, the internet allows us to access these incredible teachers with just a click of a button. Lecturers rarely begin their talks with a personal anecdote. Instead, their primary goal is to connect with their audience. Starting with a story about yourself can create a barrier between you and your listeners, but posing a question that everyone can ponder brings people together. Influencing through storytelling begins with a question. After a profound, reflective inquiry, the speaker injects humor into the presentation. Regardless of the topic's seriousness, a bit of lighthearted, sarcastic wit can elevate everyone's spirits. If they don't start with a question, they might share an intriguing story unrelated to themselves, like the discovery of ancient galaxies by the James Webb Telescope, capturing the audience's attention. Whether you're comforting a struggling child or presenting last month's statistics to a group, don't begin with a story about yourself. Instead, ask a question or share an interesting tale unrelated to you. One of our favorite TED Talks, The Magical Science of Storytelling by presentation and communication expert David J. P. Phillips, demonstrates this technique masterfully. Phillips begins by recounting the story of journalist Rob Walker in 2009, rather than sharing a personal anecdote. His tone, pauses, gestures, and warmth make it feel as though he's speaking directly to you, not to an audience of hundreds. Phillips explains how stories release 3 hormones, which he calls the angel cocktail. First, as a story builds, dopamine surges through your brain. This reward-seeking hormone triggers excitement and anticipation. Next, oxytocin fosters trust and bonding with the storyteller. Sharing stories about life's challenges requires vulnerability and courage, creating connection and empathy with the audience. Finally, endorphins, triggered by humor and lightheartedness, make us happy and relaxed. When you add these elements to your story, endorphins come into play. We are all natural-born storytellers, each with our unique narratives. By starting our stories with connection rather than isolation, we can build suspense, be vulnerable, and create influential tales. So, jot down your stories, the funny ones, the sad ones, the inspiring ones. You've got them. Now it's time to share them. Remember, successful storytelling starts with a question and builds suspense. Imagine the impact your enhanced communication skills could have on the world. How much change could you make? We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of storytelling as a means to inspire and influence others. Join us tomorrow for Day 7 of our learning series, where we'll discuss the 4 primary principles of communication. We'll see you then. In conclusion, the art of storytelling is essential for effective communication and influence. By deviating from the standard TED Talk formula, asking thought-provoking questions, and incorporating humor, you can create a captivating and inspiring narrative. It's time to harness the power of storytelling and make a lasting impact on the world, and to keep on rising.